my name is Danielle Parks, and I am a revert, which means that I left the Catholic Church and came back to the Catholic Church. I grew up Catholic, but never really had a relationship with God. I rarely went to church, didn't pray, knew zero about Catholicism. But then we found ourselves pregnant with my oldest daughter, and there's something about growing a life inside of you that makes you really want to get your life together. And so I knew after she was born that we would have to make the decision whether or not to have her baptized. And we decided that if we were going to raise our kids Catholic, it was going to be all or nothing. And so that meant trying to figure out what was truth and if this is what we really believed. So I started to read and study anything I could about Catholicism. And it was beautiful, and it made so much sense, and it was logical, but still my heart hadn't caught up to my brain yet. And then in this ordinary moment, God decided to reveal himself to me in the Eucharist through my daughter. And it was on Good Friday, and my daughter, she was 4 years old. She was super bright, super empathetic. And we went into the church on Good Friday. And we went into the church, and the tabernacle was empty because the night before, during Holy Thursday, they took the Eucharist to the altar of repose. And so we walk into the church and we sit down. But my daughter, she won't sit down. And she's looking around anxiously, and she's visibly upset. And so I say to her, "What's wrong?" And my daughter turns to me and she says, "Mommy, where is Jesus? He's not here. I can't feel Jesus." And I was floored. And I sat there and I knew exactly what she meant. I could feel it. It was empty. I mean, the entire church was filled with people, but I couldn't feel him. This 4-year-old little girl couldn't feel him. And she had no idea that the tabernacle was empty, none. And Mass started, and I was still just sitting there frozen. And in that moment, I knew, in the total absence of God, I knew without a doubt in my mind, in my heart, and in my soul that Jesus was completely present in the Eucharist. And I had this moment when I realized I would die for this belief. And so after this, everything changed and everything stayed the same. And it stayed the same in that I was still this completely broken and sinful human being who fell short every single day, but it changed the way that I looked at everything. I remember thinking, reading about the saints and how all the saints would say the same thing over and over and over again. Eucharist, confession, adoration, over and over again. And there was a reason for this, and it wasn't just because God fills us with spiritual graces through the sacraments, or because it's spiritual food for our souls, but also because it forces us to hold ourselves up to the lens of Christ. And it's not pretty. And this is the thing, as a wife, as a mother, as a human being, I can look at the rest of the world and I can pat myself on the shoulder and I can tell myself I'm doing a good job, because compared to the brokenness of the world, I look pretty good. But when I hold myself up to Christ, it doesn't look so good. And this is the thing, if I believe that Jesus is truly present in the Eucharist, that when I go to church every week and I receive Jesus in the Eucharist, then I have to believe that he becomes a part of me. And if I believe that he's a part of me, then those shortcomings, all those ways that I fall short, all my brokenness and all of my sin, I can't accept that as enough. I can't accept anything less than trying to be Christ-like. And so in that way, Jesus in the Eucharist has changed me completely.